Today, I'm taking you to this beautiful, quaint cemetery to look at the grave of someone you may not have heard of unless you're familiar with Cincinnati Reds history. Hey everyone, it's Cashew. Today's adventure brings us to Symmes Township, to Union Cemetery, and there's a backstory to this video. I've driven past this cemetery many times and I was impressed about how well kept it is, and I knew it was historical and very beautiful headstones, and I wanted to share it with you. But then I found out there's a former Cincinnati Reds player buried here who's actually in their Hall of Fame. And I started looking into the backstory of this person and thought, I have to share this with you. So let's get started. Our adventure starts here. Eugene Franklin Bubbles Hargrave was born in New Haven, Indiana, and he came from a military family. His father, Franklin, was a Civil War veteran, and he served in the 121st Ohio Regiment and actually saw a lot of battles. His father fought at Chickamauga, Lookout Mountain, and Atlanta, and his older brother Robert fought in the Spanish-American War, and he had a brother Harry who served in the Army in World War I. Eugene started in the upholstery business, but he quit because he said there was too much dust. And at age 18, he began his baseball career catching for the Class B Central League, the Terre Haute Miners, in 1911. In 1913, he played for the Chicago Cubs, and in 1916, he was sold to the Kansas City Blues of the American Association. He then went on to the St. Paul Saints. They won the American Association championships in 1919 and 1920. Hargrave hit 22 home runs, which was second in the league, and batted a .335. At the recommendation of Reds pitcher Charlie Hall, Cincinnati paid $10,000 for Hargrave. On May 20th, 1918, Eugene married Hester Wolfe in Allen County, Indiana, and in 1921 they had a son named Eugene. As you can see on his grave marker, he has the nickname Bubbles, and when I was doing my research, I found a couple of different stories about as to why he was named Bubbles. And one story said that the reason they nicknamed him Bubbles was that every time he tried to say a word that began with the letter B, he would stutter. And then I read another story that said something else, and then another story that said that both of those stories were wrong. So maybe people don't really know why, but the most popular is that he stuttered words that began with B. In 1922, he batted over 306 consecutive seasons, and in May 1924, he broke his hand from a pitch and was injured by a foul tip less than a year later. By May 1926, he was batting .432. In 1927, the Reds dropped to 5th place, and Bubbles was one of only a few players to have a respectable year. In 1928, he was 35 years old and he began showing his age, only hitting a .295. And after his retirement during World War II, he worked at a Cincinnati defense plant. He later worked at the Powell Valve Company, Plant No. 2, and became a supervisor. In 1969, at age 76, he died from the effects of a cerebral hemorrhage. Eugene was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame in 1962 and the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame in 2005. He also had a brother who was nicknamed Pinky, and he was a catcher for the Washington Senators. There you have it. Some highlights from the life and death of former Cincinnati Reds catcher Eugene Franklin Bubbles Hargrave. And I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, I was going to film this cemetery before I ever found out Bubbles was buried here, because it's so beautiful and well kept, and there are a lot of historical graves here, and I thought you would enjoy it just for that. And so finding Bubbles buried here was really, in a way, just kind of a bonus. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell. And until next time, everyone, this is Cashew signing off.